Okay, how are we going for time? Good. Okay, next one, page number 25, Taupo Residents Group, Timothy Plummer.
Timothy.
Submission number 16. Good morning, Mr. Plummer.
Mayor, Councillors, thank you. I thought I was giving you the opportunity of not having to hear from me once again in submissions. I seem to be sitting here on a fairly annual basis, but Richard Hoadley was to have delivered this today, but he got called away for family matters last night, so unfortunately, otherwise you've got me. I just wish to start by saying that we appreciate the dialogue that TAG has with Council and indeed with management, and the manner in which staff no doubt continually hassled by us, but on most occasions kindly answer and provide the information that that we often ask for. I also just wish to make the point that TRG is very much alive, Taupo Residents Group, and active. Our committee is meeting on a regular basis. We have members, or as you know, we're a voluntary organisation, but we continue to have people who contact us. We're not out touting for members as such, and wish to join and become part of our database, so they keep being informed as to what's happening, and we are getting more and more requests from both members and other people around the community on issues that they see are relevant and would like brought to, or certainly researched slightly and brought perhaps to the attention of Council. So I guess that under our mission statement is very much the role that we continue to play. In Richard's submission was discussed and approved by our committee before he submitted it to you. And just briefly going through it, we acknowledge very much and appreciate that Council have been able to look towards a decrease in the increase in the annual rate. And we are grateful of the work done by Council to achieve this. Likewise, the importance of reviewing the fees, and we suggest that should be done. I know it's not easy within the 10-year plan parameters, but to review the fees and adjust them according to user pay principles, and we very much appreciate that. We have brought to your attention the Treasury management policy, and in looking at that, it's clear that there's a requirement for an annual review of that policy, and we'd just like to make the point as to, firstly, where are you at on reviewing that policy in terms of this coming financial year, and when is it to be done, and what degree of consulting and transparency in reviewing of that policy. One of the initiatives that TRG have taken is that we have now activated what we call a finance subcommittee, where we have asked for and been given some of your Treasury documents and finances, so as we are able to look at those simply and primarily on a complementary base to ensure that the community, I guess, that we're looking after, are aware that Council are keeping within the proposed 10-year plan parameters in terms of their finances, that the requirements within the Treasury management policy are being adhered to on the way through on your annual basis. And I guess what we are simply saying in this submission is that we appreciate the dialogue that we've already received from the Financial Treasury Department of Council, that we will be coming back to you on some issues, not necessarily with pins to stick into you, but rather to discuss whys and wherefores and the reasons, and endeavour to get even greater transparency in that area. We raise in this submission the issue of the scope, and it's obviously relevant in light of the resignation of the current CEO, was the scope of the employment needs of a CEO, and the important aspect, as we see, is the relationship between the governance team and the management team, and where responsibilities lie, and that those definitions are clearly defined, and again, I keep using this word transparent, are seen and acknowledged and openly understood. We have been brought to our attention out of left field, interestingly, on a couple of occasions, issues where it has been felt that decisions have been made either by management or indeed by the governance team that haven't been adequately discussed, consulted. And I'm not quite sure what role we should be playing in this, but I say it's coming across our table, and I'm simply asking the question back of you: are you confident? Are you clear that the guidelines are clearly and clarified between what is the roles of each of the and each of the responsibilities? Just while I'm on the issue of CEO. Rob Williams has left you. It was publicly announced that he was leaving, but it would appear that he was left a little more hastily that certainly me, probably being ignorant, have learnt about. And I acknowledge I haven't been in town and read each of the medias, but from what I understand, and I simply ask again, is there some rhyme or reason, and has there been any one-off or any agreement reached to facilitate his leaving in such a manner? And as I understand, has started a new job or is about to start a new job today. Finally, in Richard's submission, we just cover the issue of the water management, and I guess this is all ahead of us. In terms of the changes to the Resource Management Act and the responsibilities that is going to put on, or be requirements implied to councils and district councils. And I guess we're signalling that once again that prior to, once acts are passed and what have you, but once it's on your table, Mr. Mayor, that there is adequate consultation, that the relationship between the various parties and the rights to sit on committees or indeed on full councils are fully canvassed and rhymes and reasons fully discussed. It is a contentious issue, and I guess TRG are just signalling that it's ahead of us, and well, certainly we'd like to be involved, but I think it's most important the wider community is involved before decisions are made hastily. Currently it's an issue in the media. We see what has happened in New Plymouth, and it's interestingly that Masterton District Council have made decisions in the last week or so in terms of representation. And by chance, I happen to be very friendly with one of their councillors who is absolutely irate that he himself, a councillor, was not informed of those decisions. So I'm just giving a little message there. But thank you. I present that submission and call for questions, and really, more than questions, ask that you take note of and may be able to answer some of the things that we have raised in that submission.
Great. Thank you very much, Timothy. Good to see you again. Any questions, Mr. Plummer? Councillor Krasowski.
Thank you for that, Timothy. Just to help me fully understand the point that you're trying to make on your first page under the CEO scope of employment needs to be carefully reviewed and to ensure there's adequate authority by the mayor and councillors. Exactly what do you mean by that adequate authority?
I'd hoped I'd explained that there is a clear differentiation between what is responsibility of governance and what is responsibility of CEO. But in the government's giving direction to management, that must clearly be known and be adequately publicised, a bad word, but so the community understands clearly where the demarcation lines are and what decisions are made at what levels, right down the chain. I mean, for example, a request came in recent days about some trees somewhere, and I haven't got my mind around it at all. But where is the responsibility of those trees, and was it clearly a responsibility of management, or had someone approached a councillor and the result of whatever might happen?
So you're referring to delegated authority and responsibility?
I'm talking to the clarification, clarity is the word, clarity of delegation, I guess.
Okay. Thank you.
Councillor Body?
Thank you, Timothy. Have you seen the what we as a council require for what do you call it? For the new CEO that we're advertising for? Have you seen the advertisement?
I haven't seen the what's the word? Not terms of reference, but
Well, the document.
I understand you have advertised for a new CEO. I assume that it's in the hands of an independent party that has been employed to, in the first instance, seek people for the job, and no doubt they'll shortlist and council will then get involved. I assume that's the role that you would normally play.
It may be
In terms of the detail, no, I have not seen what the specs are.
It's public knowledge. It's out on the website. So to do with employment of CEOs, it's worth reading.
Councillor Williamson?
Thanks, Timothy. Thanks very much for that. Very good submission. Just for example, with your concern about the clarity of budgets and the financial statements being poor and not well understood by councillors, why do you say that? I mean, obviously you say that because you think that the statements are poor, or the clarity of budgets is not good, or because it's not articulated to us properly through the staff. I would have thought maybe it's the role of councillors to communicate with the councillors, to negotiate, to communicate with the staff regarding if there's any queries. I know questions asked in the chamber obviously is only healthy. You know, that's why we're here, of course. I understand that. So,
I guess a little needle in this one. While we have complimented you on final sign-off on the 10-year plan, clearly the submissions that we gave at that time were not recognised too much, certainly around the issue of Treasury. We have continuing concerns that there is areas of responsibility that you as council have signed off giving to Treasury in terms of equity investment and, dare I say, dabbling in the markets, which in today's world it has to be questionable as to whether it's prudent or not for a local council to be doing so. I guess what we're saying in that statement really is the need to ensure that councillors are kept abreast with what is happening, fully briefed, and able to and confident to reassure their ratepayers that it's in their best interest to allow Treasury to continue to do. And I use the equity business as just one example.
yeah, thanks. There's one other point just regarding water management. So we certainly support the submission there, your views on everybody has equal rights, irrespective of separate iwi participation agreements. Obviously, currently the council has about 7 arranged with iwi. You range from the forums to agreements to legislation, and obviously with our TDC submission, we do put forward our concern how that fitted in with our current arrangements, fitting with this iwi participation.
It's certainly acknowledged. Taupo does have is leading, I guess, in some ways, but already has special arrangements in relation to the lake and the lake bed, etc. Without recanvassing wider community, but certainly the importance of upholding the rights of equal voice and democracy in the community, we as a group see as important, and the voice of all the community should be heard, but whether privileges should be given and what to extent privileges should be given, I guess is what the debate's going to be all about.
Thank you.
Actually, just while Mr. Ward's here, what percentage of our portfolio or our investment portfolio is in equities at the moment?
Probably at 1 or 2%.
1 or 2%.
Just to clarify that further, Mr. Ward, the investment in the share market is from the TEL fund, and there's an allocation is at 15% of that fund.
There's a range allocation that's available to the Treasury Management Group delegated from Council, of which about 1 to 2% is in equities. Yes.
Of the TEL fund or the total
Of the
fund?
TEL fund.
Of the TEL fund.
1% of the TEL fund.
I said 1 to 2%.
Thank you.
That report is given to Council every month.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Plummer. Appreciate your time today and good to see you again. All right.
Thank you.